So, as a radiography student, one of the things that we are supposed to do is, or one of the advantages of doing radiography is that you get the opportunity to study outside, not study outside the country, like work outside the country, like outside Nigeria. And particularly, one of these countries is Canada. Now, to work in Canada, you have to write this exam called CAMRAT. CAMRAT exam seems very tough. I think to write the exam is about between 1.2 million to let's say 1.6 million. Everything should cost that amount. Now, a lot of I was talking with some of my chiefs, some of the chiefs, when I mean chiefs, like some of my senior colleagues, and I realized that a good number of them were not so interested in writing these exams. And I was always wondering, like, why? Like, whenever I asked them, they were always like, spending the amount of money for an exam that I'm not sure that you're going to pass is not something that they're willing to deal with. So I thought hard about it. I considered how much they were earning. A good number of them were earning about between 350,000 to 400,000. I just felt like from what they were earning, and maybe it's my head, but I just felt like 1.2 million was something that they could get. They never really made it look like it was more about the money. It was just more about failing. They were scared of failing. So, and then I thought of it and I was like, you have the chance of writing an exam that if you pass, you would move over to an obviously better country than Nigeria, and you'd be earning about 60,000 to maybe $80,000 per year. And you'd rather sit here in Nigeria and be earning 350 to 400,000 naira per month because you're scared of failing. It did not just make sense to me because, like, you can fail, you can pass. Like, why do you choose fail? Why is it easier to just fail? Why is it easier to actually think of failing? I just can never understand it. Like, maybe I'm speaking from a place of bias because I have failed a lot and I've gotten used to failing as a mobile. But no, no, seriously, why is it just easier to think of failing when there's also a very good chance of passing? I mean, you just need to read for the exam and then pass, or read for the exam and then attempt it and then pass or fail. So you're very likely to fail as much as you're very likely to pass. In fact, if you read and study very well, you're more likely to pass than fail. But I realized that the failing thing is not really about the money here. It's not really it's not so much about, I don't know how to put it. It's more about how they feel. It's more about how it makes them feel, and how the perception they will have outside, like the way people would view them, the things they would have to explain to people. You don't have to explain shit to anybody. You don't. If you fail, you fail. You move on. You try again. If you feel like you want to try again, you should try again. But people make failing to feel like it is the worst thing ever. Like, I don't understand. I feel like failure is very important. I feel like failure is necessary. I feel like without failure, you will not be able to grow. Like, how would you get better if you don't fail? How would you know what is not good if you don't fail? How would you know a better way to approach something if you don't fail? But people make it look like it's the worst thing ever. People make failure look like it's a personality thing. It's not the case. Everybody fails. Everybody can fail. Anybody can fail. It's not a personality thing. Failure is a process. It is a process that almost anybody would take when you're taking a step. People would fail. So, and who cares about what anybody would think if you fail? Like, nobody gives a shit. Literally, nobody actually cares about you like that. I mean, they could think about it. They could be like, she failed this exam. She failed that job interview. But that is about it. I mean, that is really about it. Everybody is busy to be thinking about what you failed and what you did well. Like, find what is good for you. Like, what I always do whenever I want to go through something that involves a situation where I'm going to fail, where I could fail, not where I'm going to fail, is that I always ask myself, what's the worst thing that could happen? Like, what is the worst thing actually that could happen? I think about the worst possible thing that could happen. And then I realize that it's not that deep. I mean, those worst things are terrible. Oh. I'm not saying that they are not terrible, but like, there are things that you could is I live through those worst things and then I just bounce. Like, the worst thing that could happen is, okay, let's say I fail an exam. The worst thing that could happen is that I have a carryover and I'll go back to write that same exam with my juniors. and then they'll be like, ah, Pascal is writing this exam, and so like, and so I write the exam, they talk about it a day or two, and everybody moves forward. Like our politicians are so bold doing what they do without thinking about what people say. See, learn to fail. In fact, failing is important. We should normalize failing. We should accept failing as important. The way we handle this failing thing or this failure stuff is something that has messed us up from kids. Like is how it's been handled as kids. We flog children that fail exams and we praise children that don't fail. It's bad because now those intelligent children, they don't want to ever fail because they've seen what failing feels like or what it is like. They don't want to experience it, but they need to experience it so that they could grow up and be willing to take risks. We don't like to take risks because we are scared of failing. And watch the people that have made it in life. Watch the people that have made the best things, the inventors, the creators, people, the biggest YouTubers. And look at me now. I've been hesitating to do a lot of things on social media, putting the camera in front of me because I've been scared of what people would say about fail. I've been scared of failing and all of that. Because I literally grew up as that smart boy that was always getting first position and everybody was clapping for. I did not get to experience that coming out as last three or being flogged by my parents for getting last three. So I don't want to experience it. Whereas somebody that has experienced it and has known that the worst thing that could possibly happen, he may have already experienced it before. He will be more willing to take risks and be more willing to gamble in life. And life is about risks and taking opportunities. So we should learn to normalize failing. And failing it sounds funny and it sounds ironic that I'm saying it like this, but it shouldn't be. Failing is not a personality. It's not a trait. It's not exactly a trait. It is part of a process. It is something that can happen. It can happen, and it's something not just that can happen, but it should happen because it is only through failure that we can actually advance. So please go outside, try something, fail, and then move forward.